you than the whole world against you.
Yes, yes.
God is more for you than the whole world against you. So I don't care what they think. They ain't got nothing. And so what God said was, oh yeah. See, he drowned Pharaoh and his army in the Red Sea.
Yes.
See, let me tell you something. Your past is your past.
That's right.
Keep it back there. Let that nigga stay drowned in the Red Sea. Do you understand me? Listen, Pharaoh gonna come. The enemy coming to take you back. But if you continue to run and go to where you know God didn't promise, he done gave y'all destiny, purpose. Go through this thing. So what the Red Sea raging? So what the enemy coming? Stand. And done all to stand. Stand. Now listen. I don't know why I said that, because that ain't my topic. But Joshua was like a assistant pastor to Moses. And so Moses died. And Moses missed the promised land. Because Moses got frustrated with the people. Moses got tired of saying the same thing over and over and over again. He got tired of repeating himself over. Why? God had delivered these people out of so much. These people were so used to bondage, so used to their own mess and junk, till Moses would plead to God. God for many times wanted to kill all of them. Take them all out. For many times God kept saying, move out the way. Let me just take them out. And so many times, even though Moses got sick of them, he loved God's people. And so what he would do is instantly fall to the ground and cry out before God for the people. And God spared so many lives because of Moses. But it got overwhelming for Moses. Number one, Moses had no one to hold his arms up. And so it became heavy for him. It became too much for him. He didn't have people that were supposed to have his back praying like they were supposed to. Everybody was laxy-daisy. While he trying to lead the people, all he needed was them to hold his arms up. While he led the people. But instead of them holding his arms up, they got laxy-daisy. They got to complaining and murmuring. They couldn't stand. So he trying to do all this. So in the midst of him trying to lead the people, he got weary in the well-doing. He got weary in his spirit. He got tired and he got sick of those niggas. Flat out. He got so sick, he had so many souls that were assigned to him, but these people were pricking. They was kicking against the prick. They was fighting against everything he said. They didn't want to bow down. They didn't want to obey. They didn't want to do nothing he said do. Who he think he is? I'm just as anointed as him. It was so much going on. And then God told him, he said, just tap the rock. But instead of him tapping the rock just to get their attention, he couldn't take it. He was so overwhelmed till he hit the rock. Pow! He struck the rock. God said, tap it. He struck it in anger. And he began to strike it and strike it. And before he knew it, God was like, you know what? Now, because you wasn't obedient, because you got so mad, you won't see the promise. And so that's why Moses ended up dying. And that's why Joshua ended up taking his place. Now, in this day, we are a Joshua generation. Moses dead. Do y'all understand what I'm trying to say? Moses lived in the law. We are free from the law. We are free from the law, the strong law of things. God has, because Jesus died on the cross, we are being set free and made free of the law. But Joshua had to take the people to the promised land. Amen. So everything that Moses didn't complete, Joshua had to complete. How many know that it's time for us to complete what our forefathers did?
Yes,
How many know that it's time for us to complete what our mothers and dads did, what our preachers and teachers did from the old days? You know how we was taught in the old school and everything? Well, Joshua was a new generation, and so things were done a little different than Moses. Amen? And so I need you all to turn to Joshua 6. Now we can get to our topic. Joshua 6. And I'm gonna brief through Joshua 6. And I'm gonna tell you a little bit about this story. But I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but I'm just gonna brief through it. Joshua chapter 6. I'm going to start at verse 1, but then I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I read the story, so I'm going to kind of brief through it. Y'all can read it if y'all want to. Now the gates of Jericho were tightly shut because the people were afraid of the Israelites. They were afraid of the Israelites. Do y'all hear that?
Yes.
No one was allowed to go in or out. But the Lord said to Joshua, I have given you Jericho, its king and all its mighty warriors. Your entire army is to march around the city once for 6 days. Amen?
Amen.
And 7 times on the 7th day. Amen?
Amen.
On the 7th day, he wanted them to march around it 7 times. Listen, I'm just briefing. What was going on was Jericho and its walls. The reason why they wanted to keep the Israelites out because they were a holy people and they were called by God. And behind the walls of Jericho was evil people, and they did wicked things and things that were not pleasing to God. God said, you know what? I gave them that. They were okay with it, but they won't obey me. So because of that, I'm giving you what I promised them. I'm giving you that. I want you to go and I want you to tear the walls of Jericho down. And so what was meant for somebody else, God ended up giving it to Joshua and the Israelites. See, sometimes people continuously do their thing. They continuously do what they want to do. And they build walls up so the saints can't penetrate their heart. They don't want to hear what we got to say. Oh, I don't want to hear that. Oh, she's so holy. Get away from me. Oh, she always talking about God this, God that. And they had a chance, but they built a wall to keep their sin to themselves, to keep them comfort in their comfort zone. They built a wall to keep the Israelites, which were the holy ones, out, the chosen ones out. Have you ever endured trying to tell somebody about Jesus and they just don't want to hear? Have you ever endured trying to talk to somebody that they know better, but at the same time they build a wall and they don't want to hear what you got to say? Keep what you got to say to yourself. I'm doing my thing right now. And so they built this wall of Jericho, and God said, you know what? I'm giving it to you. Since they don't want it, I'm giving it to you. And I'm giving you that king. So you know what? God brought this to me. Listen to me, people. When God brought this to me, and see, I tell you this, y'all, I don't get revelation till I get here. God brought this to me. I have called so many pastors, so many prophets, so many preachers, so many bishops I have called. I have sent warning to them for their house to get it right. I have sent warning for them to get their house in order. I have sent warning for them to stop laying with their members. I have sent warning to them for them to stop pimping the people and getting the money and doing all these things. So now, I will raise up a Joshua.
Yes.
I will raise up a Pastor China,
Yes.
a Sister Carolyn, a Sister Sheena.